Welcome to the Bourbon Life Podcast, your source for all things bourbon. Join your hosts, Mark and Matt, as they drink and review bourbons, share news about upcoming events, interview the who's who in the bourbon world, and, most importantly, bring you along for the fun of living the bourbon life. Now, here's your hosts, Mark and Matt.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here tonight live in the Bourbon Life Studios, it is not my good friend, Matt.
Nope.
It is my better friend, Chad.
Hey, I've moved up in the role.
Take that, man.
Hey.
What's up,
Hell yeah.
man?
Not much, dude. Thanks for having me. Yeah,
Absolutely,
Screw
man.
you, Matt.
That's all right. Yeah, thanks for filling in. I appreciate it. Matt's like, no, man, I can't make it. I'm like, oof.
Whatever.
I know what I'm going to do,
We got Chad.
man.
Yeah.
I've got Chad,
Mister
man.
never misses an episode.
That's right. I got to give him some credit, man. It's been, 6 years now? We're going on 7.
Yeah.
This is our 7th season, so he's been pretty good about it.
I'll take your word for it. So.
Yeah, but come on, it is Matt. So, hey, we got to upgrade today. We'll call it the upgrade.
Damn right you
The
do.
Chad upgrade, man. So I'm happy to have you with us, man. Thanks for filling in.
Happy for you to have me.
Yeah,
So,
I think we're going to have a great conversation tonight for sure. I don't think
Oh,
I
yeah.
know we're going to have a great conversation. This is a show I've been wanting to do again. We've had our guest on a couple times before, so a little different tonight. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we jump into it, I do want to thank all of our sponsors. So thank you, sponsors, for everything you do for us. Couldn't bring you guys this show every week without all their help and support. Matt.
Oh, nope.
You got to drink every time you say
Man.
you call him Matt. You
Man,
got to take a drink.
You know what? Old habits, right?
We'll introduce that pour a little later.
That was just a sip, man. That was really, wow, man, I haven't hit that. That's been a
hit that in a
long,
while.
that's been a long time.
It's a good
Anyway,
one.
Chad, why don't you tell everybody who we have with us tonight, man?
Absolutely, Philip. So,
Damn.
Marcus,
Man.
tonight we've got with us the First Lady of Bourbon, Tori, over here.
Hello.
She is gracing her presence here for us.
That's
and then
right.
also we've got this other dude, other bearded guy who's trying
Bearded
to
guy night.
outdo me.
Yeah.
So
Not
Just
trying.
don't cut it. Let it grow.
He's not trying, bro. He has outdone him.
I can't. Mine's too curly. But we've got the former national brand ambassador, co-founder, and one of our best friends,
Absolutely.
Barry Brinegar.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Chad.
Welcome back to the show.
man.
Thanks,
Again.
Mark.
Barry.
Yeah.
This is, I can't remember if this is 3 or 4. 4, right?
I think it's 4.
I think it's 4, yeah.
I think I was a three-peat last time.
Yeah, he's supposed to have a green jacket.
I'm going to have to get see, I
the
wore,
jacket.
I wore the
The
green jacket tonight. Just
I'm
in your
wearing
honor.
green underwear. Does that
Oh,
count?
man. Ouch.
I was going to say, did I wear green socks? No.
We're going to take your word on that.
All right.
Barry.
I'll show you.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
That's for the third round.
We do have, that's right. That's for the 4th. That's for the XXX private showing. That's for the
The
Patreon,
Patreon.
which we don't have. Tori, we won't talk about your underwear. I promise.
Oh,
okay?
thank you.
But we're happy to have you with us tonight. That's kind of a guest surprise. I was thinking earlier because I saw a post from Jonathan from Liquor Barn that you guys were up there at Liquor Barn here in Hamburg earlier today. And I was getting back into town from doing my regular day job. And I
gets
was like,
in the way.
I was like, man, I'm going to stop by and see them. I'm like, I probably need to get home and get things set up for the podcast tonight. But I was thinking, I wonder if Tori's going to come over here with him. So I'm happy you're here. I'm glad you came with him as well.
Thank you. I
'Cause
appreciate that.
You were here last time, but you weren't.
She was camera shy last time.
Yeah, that's right. You weren't participating. So now we've talked you into it. We
Kinda forced her,
We
but
liquored you up.
It doesn't take much. We should give a shout out to Appalachia Barrel Company because that's who Tori and I went over to see. They were doing a bottle signing. They released a single barrel. It was an awesome single barrel.
Yeah. Your hat.
yeah.
She's pointing
Yeah,
out your
yeah.
hat there.
Look at Barry rocking the hat.
There you go. And it's green.
I'm repping
It's
today.
green.
It's green. It's
Oh,
a
it is
green
green.
hat.
It is green.
Matches your underwear.
Yeah. Nailed it.
So what you're saying is every day you play in your hat to your underwear, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh man. Woo, listeners, we're sorry. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's great, man. So Barry, I gave you carte blanche on this and I said, hey, what do you want to drink tonight? Because we've always been sticking to the brand. That's our
Right.
routine here, right?
Right.
So now that you're no longer with the brand, I was like, hey, what do you want to drink? And you picked out a couple of things for us tonight.
Yeah, I love Kentucky bourbon like we all do. We like America's native spirit. I wanted to represent the best of Kentucky, with a bonded 100 proof Henry McKenna.
Yeah.
It's a Heaven Hill brand. This is from 2019.
This is a 2019 bottle.
And I think Chad had some kind of role in...
probably so.
Probably so.
I think so. I think we figured out that Chad actually sold this to me back in 2019 when he was still at one of the retailers, the big retailer store.
Right across the street.
Right across the street from the house here. But yeah, it's a 10-year-old. And the funny thing is, I told you earlier that I had this bottle. It was unopened. We just cracked this tonight.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know if that's sad or funny, because I've had this bottle now for what, almost probably 7 years, 6.5 years.
Almost 7 years. Yeah.
And it was unopened sitting on the shelf. Now, I do have another bottle somewhere, or did, that was opened, obviously, and have enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So this was kind of the backup. But I knew exactly where this bottle was. So I'm like, I'm pulling that one. So we cracked it. Because, I guess sometimes bourbon sits around and the basement's kind of dark when the lights aren't on. There's not a whole lot of natural light coming in. There's not heat down here. Well, there's heat, but it doesn't get hot. So the bourbon, I don't think spoils or turns, but at the same time, I didn't want to find a bottle from 2019 that's been opened.
Right.
and be like, hey, let's enjoy that tonight, guys. And we'd all be like,
it's very corn watery and funky.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is the Henry McKenna Bottled and Bond 10-year. This is from Heaven Hill. I guess this is HH Reg mash bill.
78-10-12.
Yeah, thank you, Chad. I knew I could. Yeah.
I had it, but Chad's going to pull it right out of the air.
I don't even have to remember these things anymore. I'm just like, yep, what is this? And somebody jumps in. It's a Bottled and Bond, 100 proof. No age statement, but Bottled and Bond obviously has to be more.
That's a lie.
Oh, it's 10-year. God bless. Yeah. Jeez, it is a 10-year. It says age 10 years.
It has to be at least 4.
It has to be at least 4. See, I was trying to set it up so I could say Bottled and Bond has to be at least 4, but
no, you weren't. Don't try and cover it up.
I really was. I really was. And we were talking off camera before we started because this was the whiskey of the year, right?
Thanks a lot, Fred Minnick.
Yeah, 17.
Fred named it whiskey of the year 2016, 17, 18, and then you couldn't find it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he acted like it was a surprise that nothing, like, oh, what did I have to do with that? Everything, Fred.
It was all your fault.
Everything to do with that.
Prices went up. Everybody was bitching about it. I mean, it was funny. And I think that's Chad, because you saw a post, years and years ago that I made saying, gosh, man, I got to get my hands on a bottle of this. And Chad graciously hooked me up with it.
Yeah.
A couple dozen.
Yeah. So Barry, I mean, I saw you at Bourbon Con just a couple of weeks. Well, everybody was there. Chad, you were there as well. And you're like, man, I got news. So, and I was like, what is it? You go, well, Tori said I can't tell you.
Yeah, Tori, the CEO, she tells me what I can and can't say.
I'm like, damn it. All right. I'm like, well, we're going to have to do a podcast about it for sure. So I'm happy. We've talked about it for a few weeks and finally got our schedules lined out. Of course, we had the Snowmageddon and ice storm and everything that's put us all under for the last 2 weeks. That's been kind of a big mess, but
it has.
Thankfully, this week we're thawed out, so we're able to get together, man. So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
But you're no longer with RD1, right?
Yeah. So officially posted on social media. January 13th was my last day with RD1. In every founder's life, mostly there's a time where you're just ready to exit the brand. Yeah. And I love RD1. That was I was a co-founder. And one of the things that I really wanted to do is put Lexington, Kentucky back on the map like everybody else does that's in bourbon that live here in Lexington and central Kentucky. Fortunately, checked off a few boxes. We're on the Bourbon Trail now. People that don't know about where to go on the Bourbon Trail, Lexington, Kentucky's represented on that Bourbon Trail since 2024, and it's really helped bourbon tourism. I want to see RD1 succeed. I want to see Rare Characters succeed. I want to see every single brand succeed, because when people come to the Bourbon Trail, they're not just going to one location; they're going to multiple locations.
100%.
So I'm not a spring chicken, and you all know. You all saw me travel. Tori. It wasn't bad traveling until Tori said, "When are you coming home?" Yeah. So fortunately, Tori retired in 2025. Right. So now she's taken a pay raise. I think, right?
I don't think there's any pay.
There's no pay raise. But she, some of the perks of the job are getting to travel with me.
She gets to spend time with you. That's
she gets to hang out with me. I get to hang out with her now.
Right. I feel so bad for Tori right now.
What's that?
I said I feel so bad for Tori.
Well,
That's hilarious.
But I was going to ask you, Tori. I mean, because obviously he was on the road. I mean, this was a new brand when they started. You guys were William Tarr.
Yep.
And then did the rebrand that was to RD1 Spirits, which in and of itself is a lot of work, and we can kind of talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, on the road a lot. It's funny because I went to Houston. When was it? Back in November, maybe, I think it was.
It was.
And I just happened to, I drove to Louisville to fly direct. I didn't want to mess with, switching flights and stuff. Walked into the airport, walking to the gate, and who do I see but Barry and Tori sitting there. He's like, we're on the way to Whiskey Fest. I'm like, oh, shit. I wish I knew that, man. I would have planned 2 extra days in Houston to hang out.
Yeah, you could have hung out for a couple more days. It was a fun festival, right, Tori? It was.
Well, we have a lot of friends down in Houston area.
Yeah.
And they make it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whiskey and good friends.
Yeah, and that was because Big Chief is, he's right outside of Houston, right?
Orange, Texas, and then Beaumont, Texas is about an hour and 20 minutes south of Houston. And Poor Decisions Rickhouse, Ken and Kevin Hemingway, these guys, Tori and I met them a couple of years ago at the Baton Rouge Bourbon Festival, and just fell in love with these guys, fell in love with this Bourbon Society. This Bourbon Society, Poor Decisions Rickhouse, has members all over America. And fortunately, a lot of the admins of this bourbon club are down there. And so every time that we come, they're like, is Miss Tori coming? so I'm like, yeah, Tori coming. And I'm glad she's coming.
But that Barry guy.
Yeah,
Barry.
That's right. We don't care about him.
But we were actually down there again in
you were there in January. That's right.
Big Chief hosted us.
That's right.
There was a barbecue. It was a bottle share. Jonathan with K-Luke.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, great guy. He was there. So everybody that was down for the Southeast Whiskey Festival, Big Chief's hosting them at his house.
That was wild.
Man,
I saw the pictures, man.
That food was so good, wasn't it?
Food was good. And there's probably like 300 or 400 bottles of bourbon. It was
Wow.
a lot of bottles. Yeah.
At least. And I got to give a shout out to Andy Domang. Andy Domang is he's Cajun, as you can imagine with that name. But he made some dirty rice, and I'm just like, my God. If I ever have dirty rice, I'm going to ask Andy Domang for that recipe.
Get that recipe, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mark, how does it feel that you've never been to Big Chief's house and got to experience what Barry and Tori have got to experience?
Absolutely. I mean, his podcast comes out under our umbrella every Tuesday. I do all the editing for his podcast, and I've yet to be on his show, I don't think, and I've yet to be at his house. So,
oh my goodness! I mean, we got to change that.
We're gonna have to fix that, right?
No, that's probably exactly how Big Chief wants it.
He probably wants it that way. But Tori was good. I was getting to a question, and then we kind of got off track there. But I mean, he obviously traveling a lot. So now he's home. You're retired, and he's retired from RD1. So I mean, how is that? I mean, I would think that yes, you love your spouse. And you love to spend time together, but there can be too much time. My wife and I both work from home, so I can speak from my heart that I love her to death, but there are times it's like, this is too much. But he was gone a lot, so that has to be tough over the course of 5-6 years, right? Mm-hmm. So that, it kind of be tough.
Yeah, definitely a lot of travel, especially in the last year and a half, 2 years where he's on the road all the time.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the first day when I'm home because I've got the freedom of the house. I can do whatever I want. But then it's like, all right, starting to miss the guy,
Sure.
Yeah. So now when I got to travel with them, it was really cool.
Yeah, very nice.
Because I enjoy helping and learning. I don't know half as much as he knows, but I enjoy the people. I enjoy people being happy, and I learn a lot about bourbon when I travel with them.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously people love you too. They love you probably more than they love him.
I don't know about that.
She is a lot more lovable. And I'll put Tori up to really just about anybody with her bourbon knowledge, how she can engage people. This is a fun industry,
sure.
But it's the people that make it that way.
Yeah,
and so I mean, she has all of the chops, the knowledge. I tell her you can stand toe to toe with just about anybody talking about the brand, talking about bourbon. Now I've got her studying Excel spreadsheets of mash bills.
Mash bills, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you could be like Chad, and just rattle it out. Henry McKinnon, what is that? Oh yeah, it's AJ's Reg. It's 7812.
Yeah, Barry's trying to offload that work so he doesn't have to.
Yeah, be careful though, Tori.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to end up with. Guys, let's talk about this Henry McKenna, coming back to that. Chad, what do you pick up on the nose on this, man?
It's fantastic. It's got a nice, like, buttered cornbread, good butterscotch caramel. I mean, usually with Heaven Hill, people get a lot of peanut. I'm not getting a ton of peanut on the nose. Definitely getting the age, the 10-year on here. It's wild because, this is a 2019 bottling, so I've not had a modern-day bottling, and I always feel like these are a lot more robust. Good tobacco, a little like dried tobacco, a little bit of leather, black pepper, cardamom. I mean, just tons going on for 100 proof, especially.
Yeah, and the price on, even though they raised the price on this after Fred Minnick, thanks, Fred.
Well, now they're like $60, which
right,
which is
they're approachable, they're affordable.
Right.
Yeah,
10-year
bottled and bond, single barrel.
Right. After the last 5 years and pricing on some things that have come out,
we should be happy at $60.
$60 for a 10-year-old. It's like, that's a steal,
hell
right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, 7 years ago, that was like, damn it, I can't believe they raised the price. It's like that Heaven Hill bottled and bond, the
Yeah.
$6-year-old. When it was like $12 a bottle or $13, and then they rebranded it to seven years, and it's $50 or something.
Yeah, $45, $50.
Everybody's so pissed off. It's like, come on, it's a 7-year-old bottled and bond. It's still
great.
Good value. Barry, what about you? What do you pick up nose-wise?
Well,
you got a fancy glass, man. You and Tori both. Show your glasses up there.
So these glasses came from Flame Run up in Louisville, Kentucky.
I made by a guy named Chad, because I buy glasses that look like that, and the guy's name is, I only bought it because the guy's name who made them was Chad. So, I swear to God.
It has to be someone as good as a Chad to make this kind of a glass. We like to do them because, I mean, in our personal glassware at home, we have a whole shelf that's dedicated to these specially made glassware. And there's kind of a characteristic look of it. It's kind of clear at the bottom, and we add our colors to the top. But, you want to see your bourbon. When you're drinking, for me, I want to, we consume first with our eyes. Yep. So being able to see the color is important. With the Henry McKenna, the reason that I wanted to start off with that is I love a 10-year. Chad nailed the flavors, the aroma, the character. This is traditional. This is a traditional Kentucky bourbon.
Yep.
It has a higher standard because it's bottled in bond. As you had mentioned, it has to be at least 4 years. This is a 10-year. Can't be proof no lower than 100 proof. You have to tell where it was made, where it was bottled. And, it says Kentucky on the label, so it was made in Kentucky and it was warehoused here in Kentucky.
Yeah, it's got to be by the same distiller in the same distilling season, right?
Yes.
Right. So it's either
single barrel, so, that if it was a small batch, all of those barrels would have to be in the same season.
Yeah. That's right, it's single barrel.
Yeah, but the other thing for this is, very characteristic, high corn in the mash bill, so you're going to get some sweetness there, but you're getting a lot of oak influence. So, that's where the tobacco, some of the spices are coming in, or, they're coming with that interaction with that secondary rye grain and the wood. But I like this one. It gets us started. We're gonna have a little bit of journey here with our next two pours, but it's good to start with a 100 proofer.
Yeah. And Chad, back to your nosing notes. I mean, I agree. It's funny because I love, Elijah Craig, obviously my favorite daily, regular drinker. Different, different. But
totally different.
But it's the same mash bill, right? Aren't they same H.H. Reg mash bill for Elijah Craig? Different barrels or different warehousing locations. But it's just totally different than what that is. The funny thing about these McKennas was that there were some people that were getting barrels, the single barrels, that they didn't care much for. And I remember that back in like 2019, 2020, that there was kind of a stink. People were like, oh, my 10-year-old sucks. It doesn't taste blah, 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 this and that. So it's funny because I was thinking, I'm like, man, we're going to crack this bottle from 2019. And I'm like, are we getting
fingers crossed?
Are we getting a skunk barrel, or
Nah.
do you guys remember that, or am I making that up?
No, I remember that. I mean, I think the hype became because people were like, this doesn't taste like the best whiskey in the world. And it's like, well, yeah, at that time it was $28, $35. It's like, well, it's a $35 bottle of whiskey. Well, I mean, like, your standards are too high. Like,
Yeah, right.
Now it makes sense at $60, $65. But I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people just got their panties in a
I would agree. They're green underwear in a bun.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta love that green underwear
and their green hat,
with the green hat. So Barry, now you're out from RD1. So what are you doing with your time, man? Other than your, if you follow Barry on Facebook,
he's a trash man one day and a
oh my God! I wish we could have Mike Rowe on the Dirty Jobs.
Oh man, we so need to get Mike Rowe on.
Absolutely, because the jobs that you're posting, I love the AI generated pictures. I saw one tonight before the show. I was just randomly looking at Facebook, and I think Stephen Fonte from Limestone had posted one of you as a shipmate or something like that.
Yeah, you've arrived when a Stephen Fonte, a national brand ambassador, posts. Yeah, we got an opening for you, the first mate on our boat.
Oh my God, that was hilarious, man! But you're killing it. It's so funny because it's like day after day. It's like, what's Barry going to be doing today? And you put yourself in all these different situations. The other night, my wife's like, "Did you see Barry as a referee?"
Just waiting for NASCAR driver.
Oh yeah, I mean, countless opportunities, right? So you're just getting on ChatGPT or AI or whatever.
Yeah, it's so. I've actually got people sending them to me now.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ken Hemingway. I mean, he's the king of ChatGPT, and he's generated a lot of them. So then Tori and I were like, could you make Barry be, shoveling snow?
Snowplow driver, yeah.
So beyond all those odd jobs, I mean, what's filling you other than traveling? Because you guys are traveling. Again, if you follow Barry, he's in Bardstown, crashing Bardstown with all of his buddies and just having a great time. And you're just going places and doing stuff. What else are you into?
Well, I tell people, ultimately, I'm a consumer. I love to visit distilleries. So, we did a Bardstown takeover. We're actually going to Northern Kentucky this weekend, Valentine's Day weekend. So we're going with a couple of friends, and we're gonna go see distilleries. Imagine that. So I'm just having the time of my life. Today I was over at Liquor Barn in Hamburg, and the Appalachian Barrel Company was over there. It had a single barrel. So I just wanted to go over there and support those guys. And there was a group of 10 people who said, hey, where can we go? And I'm like, come on over to Liquor Barn Hamburg and meet the guys that make Appalachian Barrel Company's single barrels.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry. I wish I saw that post. I was sitting in traffic on New Circle Road, stuck. And I'm like looking at Facebook, and I saw that picture from Jonathan, and I was like, damn it, man, I should just go by there. But I was like, I got to get home and get this stuff set up for the pod, because you guys would show up and there'd be like shit, there'd be nothing, right? You'd be like, hey guys, I just saw you at Liquor Barn, but we're going to set up the podcast together, okay?
Should have done it mobile. We should have gone to Liquor Barn.
Oh, my God.
Crashed it.
We should do a mobile.
We could take it. I mean, this, because these little mics, this no mono system, and these cameras, that's all I need. I need that. I don't need the board. I don't really need these mics, headphones. I need my iPad, the cameras, and these little mics, and we can go anywhere.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We can definitely do that. So, guys, we're almost at the end of round one. Let's jump back to, because we just did the nose, but let's talk about the palate. Chet, what do you got on that?
Yeah, so it's really good. A lot of French vanilla, like buttercream and super cream on the palate. Really good oak tannins in there. Same thing going back to the nose, cardamom, black pepper. It's a little dry, so which I like. I know some people don't like that. This single barrel's a little on the drier side, but like Barry said, quintessential Kentucky bourbon. There's nothing wrong here. It drinks its age, a little older. It's probably my first pour McKenna I've had in a year at least. So
longer for me, man.
Love it.
No doubt about it. Tori, I didn't even ask you, nose and are you drinking with us or not?
Well,
she was.
I'm new to this. I drank mine.
Oh, that's okay. Was there anything that stood out? Any notes or anything that makes you that you wanted to say, hey, this is what I think?
Yeah, this is something that I'm really trying to grow in.
Sure.
I'm just fascinated that you could come up with all of those notes. So I'm learning that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I have anything to add.
That's perfectly fine, because I'm the same way. Once Matt gets done, especially if we're doing a crew episode, between Matt and this guy, I'm like,
that's all.
I'm just like,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I feel like you guys eat food, right? It's just like, what does that food taste like?
Well, I know. But
Yeah.
there's a disconnect in my brain in more ways than one. But for some reason, I do struggle, honestly, picking out notes. I mean, I can say, oh, that tastes sweet, or oh, that does remind me of vanilla. And there's certain things, especially like from my childhood, and they make fun of me for that, because I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's like the Topps baseball gum, when you buy the pack of baseball cards. Sometimes that flavor is like that bubble gum. I'm like, ooh, that's like Topps baseball card bubble gum. Or leather, like when I was a kid, they make fun of me because I played the outfield and I get bored and start chewing on my glove. And so like the taste of leather, and I'll pick that up on a bourbon sometimes. So it takes me back to childhood and those things that I'm familiar with.
Well, that's kind of like, the point.
I know. I get it. Barry, what about you, man? Anything stand out on the palate for you?
Yeah. And I'll just jump in here for Tori. She's a high proof girl. So she likes straight from the barrel, uncut, unfiltered. She enjoys, that higher flavor profile. I'm trying to get her to be okay with a 100 proof or even lower proof, but I agree it's thin on our palate. So right. We like flavor. Our taste receptors, our chemical receptors are kind of blunted because we're drinking, higher proof. So it really is tough going down to 100 proof. With this one, what I really enjoy about it, other than, just getting those initial notes of sweetness, it's definitely the caramel, the vanilla, but I do agree with Chad that the spices that are coming through there, and that astringency, that wood tannic astringency, is a nice balance. It strikes a nice balance. It's not a long flavor, not a long finish. And that's, unfortunately, that's kind of, 100 proof or less.
That's what you get,
It's
right?
not going to linger on the palate that long.
Yeah.
But again, I kind of lean into what Chad said. You're getting the sweetness from the corn, caramel, vanilla, short-lived, because then it moves into this. There may be not really, I wouldn't say cracked peppercorn, but a little bit of spice. Yeah. But the wood tannins kind of take over, and that's really all I get on the finish for me.
Yeah. And to me, when you say tannic, I think automatically drying, and to me this isn't as drying as some things that we've had. Because when you say tannic, I go like, oh no, I'm going to hate it, because that's kind of the thing between us. He's like, it's tannic, Mark's going to hate it.
Yeah.
I actually do like this one though. It is a little drying to me, but not to the point where I feel like I've got to have a glass of water after I finish it. But yeah, I like it for a 10-year-old at that price point. That's hard to beat. And I love Elijah Craig, and I love McKenna. Pretty much anything that comes out of Heaven Hill.
Yeah, I was going to say you're pretty.
He's got a lot of Heaven Hill, doesn't he?
I do. It's scattered about, but there's probably at least 80 or 90 bottles alone of Elijah Craig.
Yeah, that's all we get them for Christmas.
Scattered throughout throughout my basement. They're randomly scattered, but there's a ton of Elijah Craig barrel proof bottles in this house for sure.
Nice.
Guys, let's take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors. We'll come back with more with Barry and Tori, formerly of RD1, in just a minute.
So here's the thing about District 7 Social Hall. It's not just a bar, and it's definitely not just a game spot. It's one of those places you go with friends and end up staying way longer than planned. It's located in Lexington's Distillery District, just steps from the Bourbon Trail, and it's built for fun. They've got duck pin bowling, games, and a self-serve beer wall, so you can pour exactly what you want when you want it. The bar program is legit. There's a fantastic bourbon selection, great cocktails, and plenty for people who just want to hang out and sip something good. And parking? Free parking, which honestly matters more than people admit. But here's where it gets really cool. Hidden inside District 7 is Book Club, a secret wine room you'd never expect. It's quieter, moodier, and feels like a speakeasy for people who actually love wine and bourbon. Inside Book Club, they've got hard-to-find bourbons tucked away, along with a curated wine list, making it one of those if you know spots. So whether someone's coming off the Bourbon Trail, meeting friends for a night out, or just looking for a place that doesn't feel like cookie cutter, District 7 hits that sweet spot. Fun, social, a little unexpected, and easy to get to. Be seen, be social. District 7.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second round of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here tonight, live in the Bourbon Life Studios, around the flights of the rectangular table, it is my better friend, Chad.
Hey, I was waiting for you to say Matt. So, yes.
Not this time.
Not this time.
Matt is not here. Matt said, screw you, I'm not going to do the show. He said, I don't like your guest. No, I'm just kidding.
Matt, Tori ladies are.
That's right.
Barry.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be there, man. I'm tired. He's been on 3 times already. We're
tired of talking to him. We have nothing else to hear.
Not going to do it again, right? But Matt couldn't make it. Chad, thank you so much for filling in. It's always
thanks
fun.
for having me.
Always fun to have you here as a co-host, man. So
it's just fun being here.
We could maybe make that permanent. No, I'm just kidding. We wouldn't do that.
Maybe we'll see. Matt, you're fired. For those of you who have randomly joined in the second half. The second round, rather, of the podcast. If that's you, I don't know if that ever happens or has happened, or if it's
you skipped ahead 25 minutes to the second round.
Yeah, if you just scroll on Spotify or app or whatever. We've got the second best bearded bourbon. We got Barry Brinegar here with us. So
he's been waiting. He's been waiting to use that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's up, Barry? What's going on?
Listen, man, so happy to be here. You know, got my ride or die Tori here with me.
That's right. The First Lady of Bourbon is here with us.
First Lady of Bourbon.
That's right. That's awesome. I'm glad she's here. Thanks for joining us, Tori.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're happy you're here. Your first official appearance
Yes.
on the podcast. So that's awesome to have you guys here. Again, Barry, I said, hey, what do you want to drink, man? So you pick some things. So you got this, Chad, if you want to grab the bottle, and
Oh yeah,
Barry, you can tell us
it's now
what you
empty,
chose.
but-
and-
So this is a, the Stag. Actually, this is an older bottle, so it's under the
It's got
Stag
the junior. Okay. Yeah.
They've dropped the junior.
Right.
But yeah, although Buffalo Trace doesn't disclose their mash bills, this is mash bill number 1, the low rye, purportedly 89.5 corn, 7 rye, and 3.5 malted barley. It's at barrel proof. This one is 132.3 proof. This is more Tori's flavor profile.
Yeah.
She likes the
Liking
high
this.
proof.
Yeah.
Batch 12 apparently.
It's batch 12. Okay.
I guess so.
So what year was batch 12 then? Does it say on there what year it came out?
It's looking like 2019 summer.
So
we're on
another 2019,
That's right, yeah.
man. Yeah, so that bottle has been open for a while, obviously, guys. So hopefully, it doesn't look like it's turned, man. I pulled a bottle.
Oh, no.
I had that Augusta, the Buckner's 15 on my shelf upstairs. Pulled it out the other night, poured it, and I thought,
How low was
I
it?
thought, man, it was like this low. I was like, man, that looks really dark. And man, I held it up, and it was just like cloudy. Yuck. And I was like, no, because
That hurts.
That's the same mash bill as our first round, which I love, and 15 years old. And I was like, gosh, so I just had to pour it out because it was
Old fashions, man.
it was
Make a
skunked.
cocktail.
No, it was skunked, dude. It was like that lot B that you guys pulled on that blind. I had another bottle. I had a lot B up there and
That
just
was
had a little
rough.
bit left in it. And I pulled that out on a blind that we did a year or two ago. I guess it was like 2 years ago.
And we all called it like a 2-year bourbon or something. It was bad. It
People
was
are
real
bashing
bad.
it,
Really?
saying
Oh,
all
God.
sorts of bad shit about it. And I'm like, guys, this is a 12-year-old lot B.
Oops. Wow.
But it unfortunately had skunk. But this does look good. So I'm hoping.
Good
Smells
color.
good.
Yeah. So nose-wise, Chad, you're my Matt replacement. This
That's
is
fine.
great. I can just say, Chad.
I
what do you
love
got on
it.
the
I
nose?
mean, dude, it's like Dr. Pepper on the nose.
Yeah.
Man, it's cherry cola spices.
yeah.
A little bit of tobacco, sarsaparilla. It's just open a can of Dr. Pepper and boom, Stag Junior.
And you got it with 132 proof.
132 proof,
Backing it
yeah.
up, right?
I mean,
what about you, Barry? What do you
Well, I have to totally agree. I'm definitely getting that cola note. That you said Dr. Pepper. I'm definitely getting that rich sweetness. There's some wood on here on the aroma. There's definitely some influence of that wood. But you look at the color, and the nose kind of matches what you're seeing there with the appearance.
Yeah. Tori, anything that stuck out in terms of what you smelled or what?
Yeah, I really wish I had something really wise
No,
to
that's okay.
share.
That's all right.
All I can say is when I smell it, I know I'm going to like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. No, I think that's great because I think, as people get into bourbon, I think that's your starting point, right? That's
Right.
really, and you've been around a long time, but you're starting to really get into it more. So I think people out there I think some people can feel intimidated by it, especially when someone says, what do you get on the nose? And it's like, I don't know, it's sweet, it smells good,
I like it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
Because we talked about it in the first round, because some people have that ability just to pull those notes based on whatever their life experiences have been, cooking or childhood memories or whatever. And other people, there's kind of a disconnect between what you smell and the ability to translate that into some type of word that says, this is what I smell. But when you like it, that's really all that matters, right? That you want to drink it because you like the way it smells to you. So,
Yep.
And I like it too. I'm telling you, I love this. I love Stag Junior or Stag, whatever it is now. My silent protest is I've not purchased a bottle since they dropped the Junior. So.
I haven't either. I haven't either.
there you
I'll
go.
join you with that.
So I think all those bottles, they should all be Stag. I think somebody gave me a bottle of just regular Stag or Stag without the Junior on it. But yeah, because I used to buy them all the time. I'd chase them. And I'm like, I'm I'm done. Not that I don't like it, but it's like,
Well, it's wild. This is another one. So, like, I remember, let's see, when I moved Lexington, 2015. I think I moved here. Yeah, I moved from Moorhead to here in 2015. And at that time, it wasn't, I mean, the boom was a thing, but it wasn't like pandemic boom.
Right.
Stag Junior was pretty much, you can find it once a week.
Yeah.
Or like a couple times a month. And then I went to an event, like a lineup, and I don't wait in line. I hate waiting in line. I hate waiting. So I go to Liquor Barn.
When you're a VIP like Chad, you're not supposed to.
No, you got to use that. You know who I am.
Do you know who I am? Do you know what I do?
I think the idea of waiting for anything it just annoys me. It's a pet peeve. But also the idea of waiting in line to buy alcohol, I find stupid. But I've done it. I was
gonna say you've done it.
I've done it. But I went to Liquor Barn because they were doing a BTAC drop. It's like 2018, 2019, and what's on the counter for allocation? I'm like, it's Stag Junior. I'm like, why is this on the counter for allocation? Are we at that point?
How dare they?
Yeah, right.
I used to be able to just walk up and grab this off the shelf. But
you're like one of those guys who's like, I remember when I used to buy Pappy off the shelf for $35.
$44.88 more at Walmart.
There you go, man.
$27.88 for a 175 Well 12.
Chad's one of those guys.
Been there.
Nose-wise, man, I love the way it noses.
Great.
One of my favorites. That's why I've got like 6 bottles out. There's probably another bottle upstairs on the shelf, maybe 1 or 2 more in the closet. It's, to me, somewhat reminiscent of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, just the cherry notes that I get out of it.
Yeah.
The higher proof point as well. A lot of similarities, at least to me, that sweetness, but that cherry flavor, which I love in a bourbon.
Yeah.
Stag Junior definitely is one of my favorites. That's why I used to buy it all the time. Of course, now I don't. But yeah, I really like this. So Barry, let's talk some bourbon. Let's just talk industry stuff, man. Since you've been in the business for quite a while now. Of course, Chad, you as well.
Barry, let's talk nursing.
Well, I can draw your blood if you want me to.
Nice. We'll do that later. Maybe that's going to be the Patreon round, right?
No.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I've gotten older. Needles scare me, so let's not do that.
I get it. No worries about that. So we were talking off camera a little bit about this. And the brand William Tarr, you guys started as William Tarr, and then it rebranded.
That great Boo Rye blend.
Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah. That Manchester
do you
Reserve,
have any
right?
more?
I do.
7-year-old
I
Manchester Reserve.
Yep. 8-year rye, 7-year bourbon.
Yeah, I don't have any more, and I don't think I've seen it for a couple years, so Barry would be nice.
But you guys rebranded it as RD1, and that was probably, what, 22?
22.
Okay.
Yep.
So, there are brands out there. Obviously, we're kind of out of the whole boom era. I mean, COVID boom that Chad referred to. Definitely that was there. Bourbon was booming before that. The COVID boom, everything kind of exploded. Now we're kind of seeing some fallout. Brands are dropping off a little bit.
Yeah.
But there are still brands popping up, new brands, right? So I think it'd be I'm curious from your perspective, challenges and things, or even opportunities that may exist that people, because I think unfortunately in the bourbon world, the last year or so, it's been doom and gloom. There's been
so much negativity.
A lot of negativity, but I think there's still a lot of positives out there that we overlook. So I'm just kind of curious from your perspective, brands, especially brands that are startups that are just getting into it. What are some of the challenges that they may face, but some opportunities that you think are out there for brands?
I think that there's definitely opportunity. There's some of the challenges are that there are so many barrels that are aging right now, and so a lot of consumers are looking for value. They're looking for age statement. They're looking for high proof. And they can find those barrels out there. The challenge for a new brand coming into the market is you're buying that barrel at, sometimes you can get a discounted price, but not always. You've got to stay in business.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, if you're a brand without a really good story, an authentic story, telling who you are, and then you've got the liquid to kind of back that up. Unfortunately, the price points don't always match up for what you're needing to make to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge. I think what people are looking for is authenticity of a brand. So you better have a good story. You better have, the bottle better look right. You got to have distribution. I mean, we could talk about the woes of being a really small brand in a sea with sharks. With these large legacy brands that can command the respect of a distributor. I mean, we could go down that discussion of the 3-tier system. We talked about COVID. We talked about what happened with consumerism when COVID occurred. We shop differently now than we ever have.
Sure.
I mean, Tori and I, we went to Lowe's to pick up a fan, and we're like, let's just order it on Amazon because we can get it cheaper. We can find what we're looking for.
Yeah, Lowe's is now the showroom for Amazon. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who does it. I will literally go to the store, grab what I want to buy, and then go to Amazon and be like, well, it's $8 cheaper and I can get it tomorrow. I can wait a day unless I need it right now. I mean, like, how often do you guys buy online? So like you said, shoppers are changing their habits. I mean, online became huge during the pandemic. I mean, I worked for a retailer, and we literally were, every day was evolving. And a lot of brands, there are bourbon brands who are like, we'll never have distro. We only want to be online.
Yep.
And I mean, like, for you guys personally, and then as a business, like, what was that like for you?
That's complicated because, if you're a small brand, you're not going to do all that it takes legally to be able to ship as a supplier, to be able to ship from Kentucky to all of those states that legally I can ship to. It's a lot of administration, paperwork. And so what most brands do now is they're just using a fulfillment center out of Washington, D.C. or someone that takes care of all that legal work that has to be taken care of. Every year the laws change, and it's up to you to make sure that you're compliant with the laws. What I believe that there's an opportunity for brands to continue to disrupt this model. And I do believe that there already is an opportunity for direct-to-consumer shipping. The direct-to-retail is going to come. I believe that there's going to be an opportunity for brands to ship direct-to-retail.
Well, they should. I mean, you can do that with beer. Breweries can self-distribute direct-to-retail.
Okay.
And wineries in like 14 states can do the same thing. You can come from Pennsylvania and bring your wine straight to Kentucky here.
So that's basically kind of a collapse of the 3-tier system, then, right?
You still got to pay the tax, but you don't have to physically use a distributor. You're paying the tax to the government, but you're not physically using like a Southern Glazers or an RNDC or Breakthrough.
So for people that don't understand that 3-tier system, I mean, the distributor really is kind of a gatekeeper, right?
They are.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
They're the one, like, you're making the product, and you've got to get it to a retailer. Yeah, I'm Zord. I can't remember what it was. Are you?
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
I'm the key master. You're the gatekeeper.
That's right. Zool. I'm Zool.
Yeah.
Zool. The gatekeeper. Are you the key master? I'm your distributor. I'm Zool.
Well, and here's the thing. Suppliers that are making the product, we don't want to do distribution. We don't.
Sure.
We don't want to have trucks and employ people. Now,
not the headache.
It's legally available for smaller brands that have less than 50,000 gallons per year to be able to self-distribute. Once you go past that point, you have to run it through a distributor.
Yeah.
But legally in Kentucky, I can self-distribute up to 5,000 cases per year to hit that limit. Nobody's hit that limit, but what it requires is for me to have my own truck, my own employees.
Right.
I have to pay that tax, and that tax is going to be paid. The government's going to get their money.
They're going
to get their money.
They're going to get their money, but I don't. So this model is going to work in Kentucky for Kentucky brands. Right now, there's not that ability to self-distribute. Now, I can ship direct to retail as long as I work through there's a distributor arm of RNDC called LibDib out of Florida, and so I can work with them. I can get a packing slip and I can legally ship from my supplier location to a retailer wherever that LibDib is located.
Okay.
So there are distributors now that have an agreement with online shippers to let them pass through a holding company the shipment, the cases to a retailer, and they don't take that margin. There's a distributor margin that they take, and then then in turn they have to pay the cost for the employees and all of their trucks. They need that margin to be able to pay that. So once we look at this disruptive model, we're going to be able to give more margin to the retailer, and a supplier is going to be able to keep more margin. I think that it's going to be these new business models that are going to help the brands that know that are able to understand it and keep up with it are going to have a leg up. So I think that there's going to be a reckoning of, and there is, it's a crowded shelf, and you can't, if you're not selling cases, you're not going to be in business.
Sure. So, I mean, like for brands that are coming out now, I mean, it is hard, right? Because you go to a bourbon store and there's hundreds of bottles, right? I mean, how...
Bourbon store? What?
Well, you go to a liquor store. All right, whatever. You go to a liquor store, and I mean, there are tons of bottles, right? Different brands. They're everywhere. So as a young brand, a new brand, I mean, how do you compete with that? How do you differentiate yourself on that?
I don't want to interrupt you, Barry. What's funny is like from my perspective as a customer, not from a person. I keep hitting my mic. Not from someone who works for a brand. What's funny is like now what I see is two things. You either have crazy wild ass packaging that almost makes no sense, like you spent so much on packaging to draw attention, or a wildly high price point. And I feel like that's kind of in between there. If someone can, the brands who balance that out, I think will succeed. But if your packaging is only what sells it, and it's not the whiskey, or you have to have
you're not going to get repeat customers.
Right.
You got a great package, but if your product sucks, people are going to be like, the hell with this.
It's easy to sell one bottle.
Right.
It's hard to sell two bottles.
Yeah. Right.
And the price point thing is like, there's new brands every day. You can go to a liquor store, you see new brands every day.
Yeah.
And everyone who launches, especially right now, because during the pandemic, if you didn't have three numbers in your price point, I almost felt like you weren't worth having, because during the pandemic, it was like, if it ain't $100, it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
100 was the new 50. Then 120 is the new 60.
We joked about that a lot on the show. That $100 is the new.
And it's
50.
wild now because you see legacy brands are dropping prices on certain stuff, but new brands, whether they're NDPs or craft distilleries, are coming out with 2-year at $80 price points or 4-year at $100, and it's this weird position, I think, as a consumer, because it's hard for me. I just I'm at that point in my stage where I go and I buy what I want, what I like.
Right.
I'm not experimenting. I just can't go spend $100 on like a random brand.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think a lot of consumers are starting to get in it. Like we talked about that before we even started the show.
Yeah, fatigue.
Is that I'm not dropping $200-$300 on a bottle anymore, just because, number one, I just don't want to do it. Number two, I don't feel like I have the kind of money right now to be able to do that. So, Barry, along those lines, going back to what Chad was talking about, the wild packaging or really high prices that somehow draws people in. I mean, what do you think? How are newer brands, going to be able to differentiate themselves, especially in a market where you've got consumers, Gen Z, millennials, that are switching over to, RTDs or cannabis or some type of THC infused drink, or they're just not drinking at all. I mean, how do you do that?
Well, I think that there's going to be less brands that are going to come out. I don't think, unless you're really well funded, you've got to have that awareness. That awareness takes time. You're just not going to be able to come out with. We talked about this. I'm drinking my own stuff. I've got Tori and we've got 800 bottles at home. We're drinking our own.
I know
stuff.
Where I'm going.
So for me, I think that you better understand who your customer avatar. Your customer avatar is who are you targeting? The bourbon nerds. Are you still targeting those? The bourbon clubs have barrel fatigue. The bourbon clubs now, they'll do a single barrel pick, but they're like, look, we're not doing these as often because the people that were buying multiples now, they might just buy one.
Right.
And so I think it's going to be, if I'm advising a brand, you better know who you're going after. If I'm going after that bourbon nerd, I'm probably still going to have a super premium product, but it's going to be age stated. It's going to be high proof, and it's going to have a story to it. Yeah. So I think if I'm targeting there, and you better be targeting those people because they're buying 80% of all the bourbon.
Oh yeah, I mean, 80% of your sales are 20% of your customers, and if you can't satisfy that 20%, you're done.
You're done. But then the other thing, Mark, as you talked about, is that there's this changing consumer dynamic. I mean, we're right now in Kentucky repealing THC. So there's right now 12 months before it's going to be out of the state. It's recreation, or it's medicinal. It's medicinal. It's not recreational. But I think that a lot of people are going into alternative consumptions of different things. I better, as a brand, figure out what people, how am I leading people into just starting to drink, and then eventually getting them to where they're drinking the brown water. Yeah. So is that flavored vodka? Is that an RTD? Is that really reaching into and understanding that new entrant customer avatar? You better know that, and that changes. Who's consuming is going to change. So I better be able to follow their customer journey, as they're moving into consumption of alcohol, and then what's happening as they're moving beyond that, and then what's the next thing that they're going to consume. I better be really good at seeing data and understanding all of that information so that I can infer what's going to be the next product.
Yeah. I mean, it's a brave new world, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, for brands, this isn't 2015. This isn't even 2021, 2022. I mean, things have changed, significantly changed. And, newer brands are going to face some difficulties. I mean, but like you said, there are opportunities, and those, I think, I agree, those that embrace it and understand it and know what they can do, then I think they're going to set themselves up for some success.
Then I've got a real world example. Augusta Distillery, they just came out with a $50 and a $60 price point of a new release. Yeah. I think it's a rye, it's a small batch, and it's a single barrel. But you just better understand where that customer, where that risk tolerance is. You can't just continue to only put out a super premium product.
Right. Yeah. Which, and again, I mean, I love Alex, and I love what they're doing. And I've loved those older age stated things that we were just talking about, the one that skunked on me, unfortunately.
But I mean, you've got to have profit margin. So, I mean, and for brands like, mine included, and others, like whenever you start doing a small batch product, and we kind of lost that $50 to $60, $65 price point for the last several years. Like it easily went from, if you spend 50, they'll spend 75. Yeah, they'll spend 75. They'll spend 100, but I'll spend $50 on a bottle, like easy. If I see a bottle looks cool or the story seems nice, $50 is fine. I'm not that guy. I can't spend $100 on a bottle anymore. Yeah, I just can't. But I think a lot of brands are going to that $50 to $60, $65 price point to draw them in, and also profit margin. So a lot of small brands, even big brands, but still, they're making money. Like, we can mass produce things and instead of making like 13% profit margin, we're making 70. Oh my God,
Yeah.
So
I get. Well, guys, we're almost at the end of the round. Let's jump back to the whiskey so we can get the notes in on this one. Palate and finish. Chad, what do you think on the palate and finish on this Stag Junior, the 2019 batch 12?
Batch 12 from the summer of 2019. I think it's got a long finish on. Going back to the nose, I was talking about Dr. Pepper. I get a specific note on the palate, which is a Luden's cherry cough drop. So it's a little bit of a medicinal cherry,
okay,
but almost candy-like. Luden's is a sweet. I never took those for cough. I ate those as candy.
Ate them for candy.
Cardboard box,
little white box.
Yeah, right? Tons and tons and tons of that cherry cola note. I absolutely love it. What's crazy is the proof is not quite there for me on the palate that I expected it to. So maybe it's kind of burned off as the bottle's been open, or maybe it's just a really well balanced product. But it's a little hot up front, but across palate, just amazing notes of caramel, butterscotch, toffee, and then just a ton of cherry cola. Just a ton, especially the cherry. Love the cherry note.
Yeah, I agree with that. Barry?
Yeah, I agree with that. I do get some of that ethanol on the front end, the proof. It's not young ethanol, but it's hot on the front end. That dissipates pretty quickly, but this hits, and it must be the what your flavor note of that Ludens. It's hitting the side of the palate, hitting the back end of the palate, and it's long. This is a long finish. It's very pleasing. This is. For Tori and I, when we're responsibly drinking at night, not every night, we're gravitating to these higher proofs, and it's challenging our palate, and that's what we love. We love these higher proofs like this, but I love that long finish. My chemical receptors are like, just give me more of that.
More. Tori, this one's kind of in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah. So. I'll
she
say
hates it.
that I definitely like it. I'm trying to get the Ludens. I don't necessarily get the Ludens, but I appreciate that cherry.
Yeah.
So that's educating my brain a little bit on what I'm tasting. But I agree with what Barry said. It's like the beginning, the middle, and the end. I continue to get what I like, which is that peppery taste.
Yeah.
And to me, that makes it complex and it makes it good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because, to me, I agree. When I first take that sip, it's like, ooh, proof point. But then there's a sweetness to it, but then that cherry shows up. But then there is a spiciness as well that lingers on that too. So, and I like that. I like a high proof bourbon where I get that sweetness, but then that transition to a spiciness as well, all in the same drink.
Well, it's nice when a high proof bourbon transitions into like an enjoyable experience instead of just being like, it's hot.
It's not like one dimensional. It's like it's not like this is alcohol and then it's gone. It's like, oh yeah, I get cherry, I get sweetness. Oh yeah, I get some spiciness off of that, and it kind of transitions. For me, on my palate, it kind of goes back and forth. Like there are moments it's like, ooh, I get cherry, and then it's like, oh wow, I'm getting a lot of spice, and it's like, oh, there's that cherry again, and it's like, no, wait, it's spicy, and the palate it just lingers, and it transitions back and forth for me, and I really like that. So yeah, this is a nice board. Great suggestion, Barry.
Thank you.
Good choice.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to kill a bottle together too, man.
First
That's
bottle
awesome.
kill, between us definitely, but I think on the podcast. So
yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we don't kill a lot of bottles. We just drink a couple drinks and then the bottle sits in the floor or on the shelf or somewhere else.
800 bottles a year.
And then we go to the next bottle and move on, right? So
I may have had a little bit of stag on the on Super Bowl Sunday.
a little bit, Tori, you can.
Yeah, I helped a little bit, but him and somebody else.
She was like, I helped a little bit. Okay, so this much of a stag bottle.
A little bit.
That's half a bottle, Tori.
Oh, well, you had a good Super Bowl then, right?
I loved it.
Better than Patriots.
Enjoyed the game. I mean, who were we pulling for, Tori?
We were pulling for Seahawks.
Seahawks. Okay. Yeah. Of course we were.
Go Seattle.
Yeah,
right?
Because the green.
Yeah, the green, right? Seahawks. My son he's like, I'm going to cheer for the Hawks. I'm like, okay, buddy, we're going to cheer for the Seahawks. So I did find myself, even though during the playoffs, it surprised me because I was actually cheering for the Patriots because I loved watching Drake May, their quarterback, how tough he was. And I mean, I was impressed. I didn't really watch them during the season, but during the playoffs. But there's something about the Patriots and their success and how much they win. I'm like,
but damn it, dude, they're always so good. The Seahawks were like,
that's what I'm saying.
They only lost 2 games this year, so the Seahawks needed that.
No, I agree. So I was cheering for the Seahawks. So that was a great game. So guys, let's take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors. We'll come back with more with Barry and Tori in just a minute.
Welcome to the kitchen table at James B. Beam Distilling Company, where every visit is a celebration of tradition and flavor. Did you know that the kitchen table is nestled right within the heart of the distillery? That's right. You can experience the essence of James B. Beam's legacy while savoring their delectable dishes. Join them every Wednesday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a culinary journey like no other. Planning a special event? Let the kitchen table be your host, creating unforgettable memories for you and your guests. For more information and reservations, visit beamdistilling.com. The kitchen table at James B. Beam Distilling Company. Come as a friend, leave as family.
All right, everybody, welcome back for the third and sadly final round of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and we're still here live in the Bourbon Life Studios, otherwise known as my basement. We're around the flights, the rectangular table, And I have my good friend Chad with me here
right,
tonight.
not Matt. You do have me.
No Matt. Who needs Matt?
Yeah,
no
one
more
needs
Matt.
Matt.
No
Exactly.
more Matt. No more. We're gonna get
No,
messages. People will be like, "Man, get
I'm
rid
gonna
of
get
it."
foam fingers. And
Chad, number one.
That's right.
We got the
Hell yeah.
we've got the hanging, dangling, impregnated Chad right here, man.
That's
we got
right.
whatever
hanging
the term.
Chad.
Yeah,
we got
whatever
the
the term
hanging.
is.
We got the Chad. Chad is hanging
That's
with us.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're having a good time tonight, man.
We are. And
One
you
of our
know-
favorite guys in the industry
Exactly.
for sure, man. It's a good time.
So speaking of that, so let's segue into that. We've got the First Lady of Bourbon, Miss Tori, over here.
Hello, hello.
We've got Barry Brinegar, a Lexington extraordinaire.
That's right.
You know, Mr. Beard and green underwear himself. So
Wearing it proud.
that's right. So speaking of green, Mr. Green Undies over here brought. I think he brought. I don't know who brought. I don't know.
Barry did.
And Jack Rye.
Green again.
Yes, it's the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye.
Yeah.
Again, I said, Barry, you know what? Your choice tonight, man, because we're always brand specific when he's on the show. Tonight, we branched out. I said, Barry, you choose whatever.
He said, I'm only going to I only want to drink Kentucky. It's Kentucky this, Kentucky that. What bottles he bring? Tennessee Rye.
Tennessee Jack Daniel's barrel proof single barrel rye. I'm going to go ahead and say it. There are only two Jack Daniels that I like: the single barrel proof bourbon and the single barrel proof rye.
Yeah.
The only two Jack Daniels that I like. But Barry, what made you decide to bring this
So
tonight?
when the First Lady of Bourbon and I are at home drinking responsibly, not every night, we do gravitate to the barrel proof rye, the Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye. The mash bill, 70 corn, 70 rye, 18 corn, and 12 malted barley.
Okay.
This does go through the Lincoln County process.
Okay.
The Lincoln County process is where they charcoal mellow it. So when it comes off of the still, new make, they filter that through charcoal filtration. And then this goes into a particular rick house where in Tennessee it has a lot of heat, so you're getting a little bit higher proof points with the Jack Daniel's rye. What I love about it, and you know, as I'm nosing this, I want to say it drinks like a bourbon, but it has very distinct rye notes on on the aroma. I mean, we went from stag to this rye, and it's very characteristic on the aroma. You're getting some richness, but you're getting some definite rye aromas.
Yeah. What do you pick out? Well, just going back since you were talking about that, what is it note-wise on the nose? What is it that stands out to you? Because I agree that you smell it and you're like, ooh, there's a lot of bourbon undertones in there. But what is it that stands out that makes you say, oh no, this is rye?
I think that I would be able to pick this out in a blind as I'm nosing it, but you know that maple charcoal.
We're gonna do that now. I'm gonna call you out next episode. We're gonna call Barry out. We're gonna blind Barry.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, Barry.
Yeah. What do we got poured up?
Put your money where your mouth is, Barry.
Right.
Actually, Tori, you can weigh in on this. I'm pretty good at picking out mash bills and
Barry's ego.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, well, we did a recent blind series at our Lexington Bourbon Society, and there's probably like 45 of us there. And it was bragging rights only, and it was, can you tell the difference between the wheat and the rye? But then it was also, can you tell the mash bill? Can you tell the proof?
So how much did you pay to get those answers?
Well, he won. He was like, he got them all.
There was a professional number one and then a novice number one. I won in the professional category.
Nice.
But for this one, you can pick out. You know, it has some bourbon notes when you'll taste it on the palate. It has bourbon notes, but you are getting some of that maple. You know, from the mellowing, but there is very distinct rye.
Yeah.
When you know. For me, I'm definitely getting some spearmint notes. I'm getting some of the classic characteristic rye.
Yeah, that mintiness pops out. I agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
And it does kind of for me, this will fool some people on the palate. Some people will say this is not a rye.
Sure.
It definitely drinks like a bourbon.
Yeah.
But I think it's that combination of the charcoal mellow maple charcoal filtration along with that high rye content.
Yeah, 70%. So that's a lot of rye. Yeah. Chad, what about you? What do you pick up on the nose?
I agree. So like just to add to the tidbit of what the Jack, what Barry mentioned, the charcoal. People look at that as an additive process. It's a removal process. They use that to soften the distillate before it goes into the barrel. So everything you taste with Jack products are it's the aging, the oak, and the warehousing. But for me on the nose, very much, yeah. I mean, it could be. Is it a high rye bourbon? Is it a bourbon?
Sure.
Could it be like a maple? There's a lot, for me on the nose, a lot of maple syrup.
Sure.
I mean, molasses, a little bit of clove, nutmeg, that cardamom's coming through, like, some spice, citrus. Great oak. I mean, like the oak influence on this is more on the nose for me is it's like burnt wood, not necessarily like, aged oak. It's like, the char heavy. I love it. Jack rye for me is like the pinnacle of what a good rye is.
Yeah,
so
it's really good. My brother gave me a pour of this a couple of years ago, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me, dude!" Because I hate Jack Daniels. But it's like
I want to hate this too.
I'm like,
but
damn,
I like it.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Talking about those rye notes, you talking about the mint. It's funny because like I get maple, I get that sweetness, and then there's like this little waft of mint, and then it disappears, and then that maple comes back. But I get like almost like that lemongrassy.
Good call out for the lemongrass.
Yeah, like lemongrassy, which is indicative of rye to me. But if you gave me this blind, number one, I'd probably think it was maybe finished because I do get a lot of maple.
Yeah.
And I would think, this might be a finished bourbon.
Yeah.
And I don't know because
But you would think bourbon.
I would probably think bourbon. Exactly right. I would think it was a finished bourbon. Because I knew it was a rye, I was kind of looking for those notes like that mintiness, that lemongrass.
Yeah.
If you gave this to me blind, I probably wouldn't be looking for that. And that maple and those regular bourbon undertones would probably trick me into thinking this is a high proof bourbon. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the that maple can come across as chocolatey. It can. There's a banana note on there too.
Jack Daniel's banana. Yeah,
you can pick up on it. For me, that's a key characteristic of the the mash.
The yeast. I think it's their yeast,
it's
right?
Their yeast.
Yeah, that they use that gives it that banana. And it's funny because I had not picked that up, and right when you said that, I just nosed
when you said banana, I took a sip. I'm like, damn it!
I was like, there's
like banana bread pudding.
Well, let's not talk about the palate yet, Chad. You're jumping ahead, man.
I mean, he's going ahead.
That Mr. Beard influencer man is influencing you.
He influenced you to the banana. But no, it's funny you said that because as soon as you said banana, I was just taking a nose. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, there it is, man. That banana note that jumps out as well. Banana, maple, little mintiness, lemongrass. Man, just a lot
of black tea too.
A lot of great aromas coming off the nose on here. So it is funny because it is Tennessee.
Mr. Kentucky.
Mr. Kentucky, plugging a Tennessee product.
Yeah.
And I joke and say I hate Tennessee. That goes back to childhood.
You go to Tennessee every weekend.
I know. We love going to Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg. We love going to the mountains. We have family in Nashville. I love Nashville. I love the brands down in Nelson. The Greenbrier Distill. Those guys down at Nelson Brothers. Love that. But it's funny because it's a sports thing, right? I grew up hating Tennessee. I hate Tennessee football, Tennessee basketball. Just
the
hate them.
balls.
Yeah. My son, he's special needs. His favorite color is orange. And he wanted to like an orange team. And I was like, you cannot like Tennessee. You just can't. So he's a Texas fan.
You put him on A&M?
Oh my gosh.
No, just Texas, University of Texas. The Longhorns, they're orange and white. Yeah.
Hook 'em
horns,
I guess
right?
I get them mixed up. But I
Texas,
can't.
The Aggies are maroon.
That's a dick move.
No, so he's a Texas. So man, he has Texas toboggans. He has Texas shirts. He has Texas pajamas. I'm telling you.
At his heart, he wants to be a Tennessee fan.
No, he will not. He called his uncle, my ex-wife's uncle. He's funny. He's a huge UK fan. But he calls Louisville and Tennessee, he calls them low down dirty snitches. So my son, when Kentucky plays Tennessee, he'll be like, Daddy, I don't like them. I'm like, why is that? But he goes, because they're low down dirty snitches. So yeah, but the hatred of Tennessee is real. It is a real thing.
Yep.
But I mean, from the perspective of whiskey, I mean, this is great. I mean, you can't knock it. But in terms of tourism, I mean, obviously, Tennessee's doing a great job. A lot of people go to Lynchburg. I've never been personally. Have you guys ever been to?
We have.
Yeah. Tori and I have a good friend, Sherry Moore. Sherry Moore, consequently, has taken over as the general manager for Castle and Key.
Oh, okay.
So she's managing that distillery, but she was a general manager at Jack Daniel's for I think 25 years. It's a long time.
Wow. Okay.
Her Mary Bobo, who owns an Airbnb
Historical house.
house. So that was her aunt,
Grandmother.
Yeah.
But she
Kinda
lived
like
there.
Thank God
She
Tori's
lived
here.
Yeah,
to keep
God,
you straight.
like
Barry,
an aunt.
Barry,
Man,
know
how
your
many
shit.
drinks?
Damn,
How many drinks have you had now, Barry?
I'm leaning in now. But the thing about tourism, when we went down there, 1 out of every 3 guests that came to Jack Daniel's was from outside the U.S. Outside the U.S.
That's incredible.
Wow.
It's staggering numbers.
Yeah.
It is the #1 selling American whiskey in the world.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
And let's just go down this path. Is Jack Daniel's? This is obviously a rye mash bill, but the non-rye mash bill. The question isn't
Yes.
is it a bourbon? The question is, why is it a Tennessee whiskey?
Right.
Well, it's Tennessee whiskey because it's made in Tennessee.
Tennessee want to be special. Tennessee are not special.
Damn it, Tennessee got special carve out.
It's bourbon.
It is bourbon.
It is
I mean,
bourbon, right?
their master distiller said it's a
It's
bourbon.
bourbon.
Yeah,
right?
he said it like 8 years ago, and then
It's so funny.
But man, you can start so many online arguments when you say, "Oh, it's a bourbon."
I love it.
No,
I love
blah,
it.
blah, blah. It's
No,
like, no.
yeah, I'm an instigator, so I always say it's a bourbon.
And the funny thing about that is because people will say it's not a bourbon because it's charcoal mellowed. I'm like, have you ever looked at a bottle of Old Ezra 7?
Have you ever been to Heaven Hill?
It
Right.
says on there charcoal mellowed. It's a bourbon. I mean, it doesn't. That process does not make it a non-bourbon anymore.
No,
I mean,
it's a removal, not an additive. And
Right.
tons of distilleries. Heaven Hill's one of them.
charcoal mellowing.
Heaven Hill does charcoal filtering on almost
right.
everything they do.
Yeah. So
Right. Anyway, when
I'm
you
sorry.
think,
We got
We
off
did,
topic.
yeah.
Sorry, Barry.
but you think about the tourism piece. Now we have to lean into the and of bourbon.
Right.
The and of bourbon is I'm coming to Kentucky. I'm going to do a distillery tour. After I do the second or third one, I can teach how you mash, how you ferment, how you distill. But now, we're going to Bardstown Bourbon Company. We're doing a tour, and then we're going to eat dinner and pair that with our bourbon.
Right.
So it's bourbon and a 4-star restaurant. It's bourbon and log still. They have the amphitheater. They have entertainment.
Right.
The tourism is still up. Our tourism numbers are still up. We're seeing people come on the bourbon trail. We're seeing people spend $400 to $1,100 per person on average on the bourbon trail. So I mean, you look at what's happened here in Lexington, Kentucky. We're on the bourbon trail. We see communities starting to be built up around bourbon. RD1 at the Commons, they are Darren Turner is finishing a entertainment venue, a 2,500 capacity entertainment venue. We're going to be bringing people to Lexington that are going to be coming down for the pickleball tournament at Pickleball Kingdom in the Commons. They're going to do 2 national tournaments a year. That's going to bring people to Lexington. So we're continuing to see these tourism numbers rise. We just have to continue to create great experiences for people when they're coming to Lexington or Louisville or Bardstown.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got a unique perspective because you've been in the industry and you've been on the road. And
he's also gone from the distillery district to across the road to the new
the Turner Commons.
Area, which I feel like the distillery district's getting kind of like a rebranding, a revitalization. But then there's Turner Commons, which is also getting like this new hyped, like, hey, we want to bring people here. Which is wild because now. Like, if you go to the distillery district, there's like no parking yet. Like, it's always busy.
Yeah.
And I feel like, when did that first open? 2018?
I can't
earlier.
remember. It was earlier than that.
I thought it was before, like 2013. I think the Barrel House.
I think so.
First came to market.
Because Barrel House came out right after Alltech, but I didn't think there was. I'll just say 2015 when I moved here. I didn't feel like it was like all that happening.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. I mean,
now it's like that is happening.
It's a happening.
And then you go to
No
Turner
doubt.
Commons and there's Battle Axes over there at their giant ass warehouse and RD1. There's like the plans for that within 5 minutes here at Lexington is going to be a ton of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's what's great about Lexington is Louisville's got it's Whiskey Row. Outside of Whiskey Row you got to travel. Lexington, we need that. But it's tourism is on the up and up because people want experiences. They want to get out of the house. They want to go somewhere. They want to talk to people, see faces, shake hands, and try things.
So Barry, from your perspective, having been in the industry, having traveled to a lot of other places, for brands out there, even for cities, even the state of Kentucky, what
the worst state you've ever been to for experiences?
What, in your mind, what can brands do, but also what can the city of Lexington and the state overall? We talked about. Lynchburg, Tennessee, is pretty much in the middle of nowhere. It's south
and a dry county.
And a dry county. It's a dry county. South of Nashville by maybe an hour or so?
An hour and 20,
Yeah, so you got Nashville, but it's an hour drive. And there's nothing else out there, right? It's one distillery.
Right.
And it gets that many visitors. A ton of people flock from outside of the country even to come, like you said. So, I think we could maybe learn something from that, but your experiences as well. What do you think brands can do to encourage that? And, even the cities here in Kentucky and the state as a whole.
I think that the brands, we talked about it on an earlier segment, the brands, they better be promoting to these bourbon clubs. Retailers have bourbon clubs.
Yeah.
You've got these for-profit bourbon clubs. You've got these non-profit bourbon clubs. They're still buying a lot of bourbon, they're still paying high price for some of the allocated stuff. You better have experiences that are leaning into this super nerd who can tell you what bourbon is and can quote you the mash bills. You better be leaning into those groups and creating experiences specifically for them. But you also better be ready to, the city of Lexington, we better make sure that we have very good entertainment values for people to come in, because they're not always going to drink bourbon responsibly, not every night.
Right.
But they're going to, there's got to be other things available. We need to be positive and we need to promote, not try to, sell doom and gloom for clicks.
Right.
Rather than we need to figure out what can we do to create such a great experience for people. We know they're going to come to Kentucky for bourbon tourism, but we need to have a compelling reason to keep them in Lexington. And we're developing that. We're continuing to build that. We better continue to hone that so that we've got, the Weta Michaels that are creating great culinary, entertainment like Darren Turner's building over there in the Commons.
Yeah. Tori, I'm curious because now you've had the opportunity to travel with Barry. What is it about bourbon tourism as you've traveled and gone to these things? You've had experiences, other places, other distilleries, whatnot. What stands out to you as a consumer? You have a unique perspective on that because Barry's in the industry, and he always, I'm sure he's a consumer as well, obviously, but he's always viewing it as well from that industry perspective, whereas your perspective is outside of that. So what is it, what has appealed to you, or what do you think we can do, or the city, the state? What's the appeal, and how do we capture that?
So I would say the appeal is the people, for sure.
Yeah.
So when we go to different festivals and people come up to the booth, because I'm not or was not an employee of RD1, sometimes I took the liberty of having longer conversations with people.
Yeah.
Versus the quick exchange to get them moving on. I was able to delve down a little bit deeper and just kind of interact with individuals and understand their stories. And to me, that's what got me into bourbon, was understanding the stories. Because when I first started, I'd go to the Bourbon Society and I would take a bottle of wine. I was like, I don't want the bourbon. I don't like the bourbon. I don't like the smell of the bourbon. There's nothing that appealed to it. But then when I hung around long enough, I started
Hold
to
up.
appreciate.
What wine did you take?
A red cab. Like
I was going to
the
say, what
heaviest
about
body wine.
some Spanish Rioja? Come on.
Okay. Yeah, but I started to really appreciate people, and to me, that's still the appeal when I go other places, is getting to know the personalities.
So it's a connection. There's a connection.
Yeah, and no matter where you go,
Yeah.
they're always the same kind of story. You know, it's beautiful people that come together, and everybody supports everybody. All the different distilleries support the other distilleries. The people support their fellow liquor stores. I mean, it's just that's the appeal to me.
So I think people, they want the experiences, but I agree, they want the connection too, right?
Yeah.
So they want to come in, and they don't just want to experience something. They want to forge a connection, and I think the experience gets, like with the bottles we talked about. You know, you buy the first bottle. If the product sucks, you're not going to buy the second.
It's easy to sell one.
You got to sell that second bottle, right? So the experiences, the opportunities, that brings them in. But I think those connections is what brings them back, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it hooks them. It anchors them.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
They know how they felt when they were interacting with Tori.
Right.
You know, and
It's great.
you know, you're making it personal.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's great. And I think brands can learn a lot about that, because I think, you know, not my personal experience, but I'm sure people sometimes feel like they get herded through different experiences and things. So they pay money, or they show up and they want this experience, and they get to do what they want to do and check things out, but they don't build those connections, right?
It's a big thing with, like, the joke is always, you know, the 51% corn tour. You know, you go to all distilleries and everyone, it's okay. It's, you know, hey, you know, Kentucky Bourbon, it's got to be, or to be bourbon, it's got to be 51% corn, blah, 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 blah. But, like, when I worked in sales, my thing was the dollar to dime ratio. Like, you pay a dime, you get a dollar experience. Like, if you're not getting if you're not getting 10 times what you paid for, it's not even worth it. Why even offer it?
Right.
And the bourbon industry, I think, could learn a lot from that, because, like, I mean, from a sales background, like, for me, that was kind of like my thing is, if people would ask me by name, that's great. But when people choose to go to distilleries, they want that experience. They want that unique.
Yeah.
And if that specific distillery that customer goes to can't provide what expectations are, you know, it's a threshold. But if that distillery can't meet expectations for most of their customers, it sucks. So, you know, I always, like I said, the dollar to dime to dollar ratio. If, you know, the customer's going to give us $10, they need to get a $100
experience. That makes sense. But I think, you know, like Tori said, I think the connection that you can build with those customers as well, and I think brands need to realize that. And cities and states, you know, we can build on that. Tourism's huge for us, obviously, in Kentucky. Bourbon's obviously $9 billion plus a year, and tourism is a significant part of that. So I think, you know, the more we can continue to embrace that, and I think, you know, I think our legislature, I think our governor, I think everybody in there, even though there's discrepancies because we have a Democratic governor and we have a Republican supermajority controlled legislature, I think when it comes to bourbon, I feel like everybody's kind of on the same.
Yeah, this state loves their taxes.
Yeah, so, they do, right? But I think everybody's on the same page, at least with regard to bourbon. And there have been a lot of significant changes over the last few years. And I'll give a shout out to my buddy Damon Thayer, who was in the Senate.
Yeah.
And he was responsible
Senator Bourbon.
Yeah,
right.
Man, he was.
Hey, I got an email from him the other day.
Did you really? He did so much in terms of legislation. Of course, he's part owner of Kentucky Senator, so there's that aspect of it as well. But I think the legislature has really embraced, because a lot of the rules were from the freaking early 1900s, right? They were so archaic, it killed.
Yeah, they're called, you know, like blue rules or, you know, church laws, like things that don't make sense in modern day times.
But I think our legislature has embraced that change and realized how important the bourbon industry is, and our governor has supported that as well. And I think it's great for our state, because even though there's the big differences between the Republican Senate and House and the Democratic governor, that they've still come together and they're promoting the industry as a whole. And hopefully that continues. I think it will.
Well, yeah, it's a for-profit industry, and
it's great.
There's a lot of taxes, and it goes it goes to the state. And I mean, we're the only state who taxes what we do on aging whiskey, but
yeah, that's changing though. So which is great.
What is it?
2040, I think.
2040.
Yeah,
I think it was
amortized over.
I think it's a 15
each
year.
It's going to be.
They passed it in 25, so it's going to be, I think, 15 years to phase that that barrel tax out. Because no other state, we're the only state in the country that does a barrel tax.
That's why all the big brands were, you just
building warehouses in other states. I don't want to. I'm not going to get off topic.
Well, but here's the other thing that Kentucky has to figure out in 2040 is we better figure out how the smaller cities and municipalities are going to be able to pay their taxes.
I agree.
So there's got to be something, to make that work. The legislature is doing wonderful things. It was illegal for brands to do barrel picks and sell them out of their gift shop. That was illegal. They had to change the legislation. They did that. They did that really quickly. But, to Chad's point, there's a lot of laws on the books that are antiquated.
Absolutely.
From after Prohibition.
Sure.
Yeah. I guarantee going not to hover that topic, because that could be a whole episode. It's probably going to be a property tax thing with warehouses per square foot. It'll be a property tax.
They'll get their money somehow, but
the government's going to make their money.
I agree with that. Yeah. But it is nice to see that our government in Kentucky is focused on continuing to grow bourbon as a whole, the industry, and working together to make that happen. But I think brands need to embrace what you've talked about, creating those experiences. Cities as well need to embrace that. Yep. And I think Lexington's done a really good job. Visit Lex here in Lexington has done a really good job, I think, of embracing tourism and bourbon and promoting that as a whole. What was the Bourbon Land they had?
Bourbon Land.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was awesome, right? The whole thing they had to promote bourbon.
Well, even like Bourbon Con. For the last...
Sure.
I don't know how many people you talk to at Bourbon Con, because I rarely see you there. But I feel like
I avoid you on purpose.
Yeah, that's believable. But I feel like maybe 1 in 5 people that I would talk to at Bourbon Con were from Kentucky.
Oh, everybody I talked to was out of state.
Everyone was like 4 out of 5 people out of state.
Crazy, which is great. Yeah.
We had lunch with people from
Ohio.
Ohio, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, they were from Ohio. The next day, I had lunch with people from Ohio. I met a guy from New York at dinner. So everybody I sat with at dinner that night was from out of state. Nobody was from Kentucky.
That's really cool for Lexington.
Especially
dinner, right?
for a small,
a smaller festival, 4 years old.
4 years old,
sure.
And they sell several hundred tickets or whatever. But that's great. That 20% are local, but 80% are from out of state. That's
and Visit
great.
Lex is invested in that. They promote that. So and I think it's great to see our chamber here, but Visit Lex as well. Everybody involved in really promoting the industry. And I think as long as they continue to do that, then I think we're going to see continued growth. And I think it's only going to help the brands, right? It's only going to help the brands.
You're going down.
We're coming for you.
Speaking of places that we hate. No, I'm just kidding.
Lexington, the unofficial bourbon city of Kentucky.
I think we should embrace that. So guys, let's jump back over to the whiskey. Let's talk about this non-Kentucky whiskey.
Yeah, so
we don't discriminate on spirits.
Man.
The guy who's been hyping Kentucky on
Kentucky, and now here we go back to a Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. Chad, what do you get on the palate on this one, man?
Oh, man, it is fantastic. Fantastic. So going back to the nose, those like super maple molassesy notes carry over, almost like rum-esque. Like there's a little bit of like a funk, like a sugary sweetness on the palate. It's sticky, it's thick. The clove note, it's funny, like the tobacco and the clove go together almost like a cigar. A little bit of like winter mint. I know Barry called out like spearmint on the nose. I get a little bit of winter mint, a little bit sweeter mint. But still, like we talked about the nose, in a blind, if I tasted this, I'd probably still say a bourbon. Yeah. Like it's fantastic. I love this product. So thank you, Barry.
Yeah. Barry, what about you? What do you get palate finish on this?
This one has it meets the bill that Barry and Tori like. It's high proof. It's flavorful from the front end. You're getting that ethanol heat. It coats it's very viscous.
Absolutely.
I agree. And that coating just intensifies the flavor.
I agree.
So the that banana ester that's carrying over on the palate, it finishes. So for me, I kind of get that banana ester on Old Forester. So they're owned by the same company. but that carries over. So that's very much a signature. I get some of the rye influence, but I get a lot more of the bourbon notes on the palate. So that maple kind of comes through. That chocolatey note definitely comes through on the palate as well.
Yeah.
But it's long lasting. This is a long lingering.
I like you talked about. You said it was viscous, and I agree. I mean, this one of the three we had tonight, this one just like coats the whole palate, and because of that, I feel like I talked about the Stag. That transition back and forth. It was kind of quick, but it was still that sweet. That cherry, sweet, spicy, and then back and forth. This, it's like it just coats your palate and sticks, and those flavors just linger a long time.
Yeah.
Chad, I think you mentioned maybe even black tea on the nose.
Yeah.
Comes through on the palate for me as well. I kind of picked that up on the back end somewhat.
Yeah.
But that maple comes through, like you said, molasses, or burnt sugar type of aroma or flavor. The banana did pop out. It wasn't consistent, but every once in a while it'd be like, oh, there it is, and it's like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
But it did pop through as well. I didn't really detect like that lemongrassiness from the nose to the palate. I don't pick that up on the palate at all, but I do get that mintiness that you talked about as well. But again, it's not that lemongrass, but man, just overall, again,
fantastic.
One of the only two Jack Daniels that I enjoy drinking. This is phenomenal, man.
I love it.
Thanks for bringing it. Tori, anything jump? This is in your warehouse too. This is high proof.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So when Barry's like giving me something, I'm like, can you just give me some Jack Daniels, right? Yeah, that's what I want. So for me, like, I'm just remembering when we went to Arthur and Caroline's farm, and they had some friends come up from Florida, and they fixed some creme brulee.
Bananas Foster.
And banana Foster.
yeah.
So they fixed the like grilled bananas, but it was like that crispy, sugary topping on top of that. And that's what it tastes like to me, with a little faint of the banana.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, because I'm not a
Look
huge...
at her, man. By the end of the show, you're
like a pro.
calling out.
Yeah,
some,
she's like, I don't taste food. At the end, she's like, I get
It's a
grilled
Well, I'm
banana.
getting hungry
it's a
now.
banana Foster with a hint of delayed sugar.
These are hand grilled bananas.
Yeah.
Half at a time.
grown in the Dominican Republic on a Thursday, harvested on Sunday.
No, that's a perfect call out though. That's
really,
great.
I know, absolutely.
Like, 100%.
Yeah. Again, man, on the palate, if I did not know this was a rye, I would think that there's a possibility that it was a finished bourbon.
Yeah.
It totally leans in that. It could be, is it a maple finish or just even I'd go rum finish, because like
Rum
for me on the
finish,
palate,
sure.
like the finish, it's super rum.
Yeah, I agree, man. So I think you blinded me on this. I don't know, because I don't drink it enough. But if you just said, hey, try this, I'd be like, oh man, that's a delicious bourbon. Is that finished? I mean, that would be my first reaction to that. So that's really nice, man.
And I've got to tell you, with my travels all across the country, I had a standing order from Tori if I saw a Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye and it was over 135
True
proof, it was
story.
an instant buy.
Yeah.
Always buy.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we're at the end of the round and actually the end of the show. So let's get some final thoughts. Barry, anything you want to add as a final thought here?
Yeah, I loving what I'm doing right now. I'm having fun. Tori and I are hanging out. There's going to be something in the future. I'd love to come back and, at the appropriate time, I'd love to come and tell you what's next. For me, I can give you a little sneak peek preview is I want to rebrand Kentucky bourbon. I want to put...
He's trying to put Tennessee whiskey as Kentucky.
That's right. I gave Tennessee their props here, but I really do want to rebrand Kentucky bourbon. I think that Kentucky craft brands need to come together. We need to band together and just like a co-op, coming together and really promoting the craft part of Kentucky bourbon.
That sounds great. We'll definitely have you back on. That would be appearance number 5, so I'm going to have to get like a golden crown or something.
I mean, the Bourbon Life budget has to at least give like a pullover zip up or something.
You're going to have to do something, right?
How about a rain jacket that's green?
I used to wear fleece all the time, and they gave me so much shit for wearing fleeces every show, so I don't wear my fleece anymore.
No, we didn't give you hell for wearing fleece, as you always wore the same fleece.
The same fleece, my gray zip-up Columbia fleece. But so to the point that I was just going to get guessed like a zip-up green Columbia, like the Masters jacket, right? So Maybe I'll come up with
Barry,
something for
I'll make sure we get you something.
Tori, thank you for joining us. Do you have any final
you.
thoughts, anything you want to share before we close it out tonight?
Well, the one thing I didn't say when you asked about the appeal for going to other places is probably authenticity.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I see people like him, like he bleeds bourbon. I mean, he just really believes in it and he's got a passion for it, as do you guys. And I think that's really what makes people want to come over to the bourbon world.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Love it.
Appreciate that. Yeah. And I take that as a compliment. So thank you very much, Tori, for saying that. Chad, Matt usually, gives his final thoughts. So let's have final thoughts from Chad tonight.
I will give the Chad soliloquy here, so be Matt. But no, Barry, Tori, thank you guys for coming and hanging out and shooting the shit with us tonight. I very much appreciate hanging out with you guys. Barry, it's been far too long since we've hung out together. So
Far too long.
Appreciate that. I mean, whatever time of day it is, morning, noon, or night, whenever you get your Bourbon Life fix, we appreciate you guys coming by and listening to the Bourbon Life. Barry, Tori, thank you guys so much for giving your story, your insight, and everything you guys, your experiences and your opinions. We appreciate that, and the listeners do too. And it's fun for me because, from the industry, I love hearing other industry insights, and I appreciate what everyone has to say. So
Awesome.
Happy to hang out. So that's all I've got. So
Awesome.
Thank you guys for your time and the pleasure to host
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
And definitely thank you guys. Tori, I'm so happy you're here. This is great. Like I said, I saw the post and I thought, man, I hope he brings Tori with her. So I'm happy you came over. So thank you for hanging out. Barry, man, you're one of my favorite dudes. I love having you on the show, but I just, in person, just love being around you and spending time with you. You're just one of the most genuine guys.
It's hard not to have fun with Barry.
Absolutely, right? But like Tori said, you're very authentic. You're very genuine. You do bleed bourbon. And people that are around you for even a limited amount of time, they understand that. So to you, yes, it's a business, but it's so much more than that. I mean, it's your passion. It's who you are. It's what you do. So thank you for joining us tonight. And thanks for providing, like Chad said, I've enjoyed this show. I always enjoy doing shows where we're talking about the individual, and the brand and everything. That's fun. But I love when we have the opportunity to just talk bourbon, and it's not brand specific.
Yeah.
This has been a very unique and fun experience for me tonight. So thank you both for doing that. So we really appreciate that. We do want to thank you too, our listeners, for tuning in. Like Chad said, whatever time of day it is, morning, noon, or night, which Matt always says. Whenever it is you get your Bourbon Life fix, thank you guys for tuning in. We do want to thank our sponsors as well. Thank you guys for everything you do for us. We couldn't bring you this show every week without your support, so thank you for that. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram as The Bourbon Life. We also have the private Facebook group, The Bourbon Lifers. Jump in there. We'd love to have you join us on that. We have some fun conversations. Don't forget our friend, we mentioned him earlier, Big Chief.
No, screw Big Chief.
Big Chief, the wheated king of Texas now.
The old tub master.
And his lovely wife, Vivian.
And Vivian, that's right.
Yeah.
He puts out his episode every Tuesday on our channel. It's the Whiskey Trip. So he's also on Instagram and Facebook. So please get on there, give him a like and a follow as well. He would really appreciate that. But his show comes out every Tuesday. With that said, I do need to say, if you want to reach out to us, feel free to email us as well, thebourbonlife@gmail.com. You have suggestions for shows, questions, anything, please pass those along. We'll be happy to get back.
We need them, please.
We'll get back. I promise we'll get back to you. With that said, I'm going to wrap it up, send us home with our tagline, which is, may your glasses always be full, and may you keep on living the bourbon life.
Keep the violin.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. Our mission at the Bourbon Life is simple: to share our passion for all things bourbon with you every week. And we'd really love to hear your thoughts on how we're doing. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at The Bourbon Life. You can also contact us by email at thebourbonlife@gmail.com. And you can always find us on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a moment, we'd love it if you would rate us and give us a review. So until next week, we hope your glass is always full and that you keep on living the bourbon life.